What in the world happened here? Well, make sure you guys smash the crap out of that Grisaille prison button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content. So Grisaille prison. This is a card that we've been kind of monitoring throughout the years. I mean, every time something comes up that would kind of entice the meta to want to do something, well, Grisaille Prison tends to be one of those cards that you want to look at. It's another looming condition floodgate card that looks to kind of slow down things. But I mean, like, you have to have a tribute, ritual, or fusion summon card to make it so that neither player can synchro or exceed, and you just get to blink everything that's synchro and exceed, which is kind of cool. But Konami needed to learn that, producing these level of floodgate cards throughout the years has had some little side effects. Now, this thing, the highest rarity print is from Fusion Enforcers, and right now, if you're looking at wanting to get a playset of these, it's going to cost you about $15 to get a full set. For as much as this card comes up in the topic of conversation across, the meta landscape, I have truly never seen this card actually have application. It's always been talked about for sure, but I've never seen, outside of maybe one example, that this has come up with in actual play. So I do want to say, there's a lot of hype going on with trying to find the key card to stop Cool Tunes. And as you guys saw in the meta report earlier this morning, it's definitely coming along. I mean, the Kong's tournament really proved to us that, Cool Tunes is this massively scary engine that we have to be a little bit wary of. So that's your big meta cover up today is, how much can Grisaille Prison actually provide you in these other decks. But hey, I guess the branded support card. Next up, we have the sea monster of Theseus. Holy crap, man. 2 weeks ago, this card was $15, and we all thought the $15 was crazy. And they started going up to, $20. Today, the lowest sea monster Theseus I can find on the market is $25. Super Poly, in order to have this card be usable against Cool Tunes, is now that price point. Now, obviously, this card only has, for whatever reason, 2 printings. The last printing was back in 2017, 9 years ago. It took this card to rise from the ashes of the bulk binders to become something absolutely critically important to the meta. And if you're planning on playing anytime soon, and you're one of these decks that looks at Super Poly as a card that can provide outs, provide, that level of security that you need, you're going to have to go pick this up. You're going to have to go pick up Garua. You're going to have to go pick up Mudragon. Theseus is going to be one of the 3 big cards. And you're going to be like, well, Robbie, I don't really think I need, Super Poly. Okay. Enjoy getting that your Rose Whipped. Enjoy getting this whole giant field. Enjoy having your levels getting modified. That's the Cool Tune experience right now. And obviously, there is the argument that, Cool Tune will just rip the Theseus out of the extra deck, which will just kind of detour you anyway, which it is partially true. I mean, they're going to go into the extra deck, and they're going to find cards. But if there's a sea monster of Theseus present, Theseus will also protect your other extra deck cards from getting ripped. That's a little important little text line this card has. Like, as long as, your opponent's not going to be too fully aware of what's going on, that one's actually going to be kind of nice to have. Now, we also have Ian Shuffle. This was kind of interesting. So, keep in mind with Blazing Dominion here, we are going to be getting in the, Miracle Ejector finally. Which, if I recall correctly, Miracle Ejector plus Ian Shuffle was kind of like full combo, if I recall. Because Ian Shuffle just lets you shuffle an Elemental Hero Neospatian monster you control into the deck, special summon an Elemental Hero Neospatian with a different name from the deck. And we can banish from the graveyard, shuffle from the graveyard into the deck, either an Elemental Hero Fusion Neospatian or an Elemental Hero Neos to draw a card. And then, so it's draw power, it's the ability basically to do full combo. No wonder why this card is suddenly becoming a little bit more discussed. Also, when a common from GX Midterm Destruction is now do you want me to say a $3 to $4 card? Like, holy crap, people. It's crazy. And, you know, I'm not going to say that we might not see a reprint of this in the upcoming set, because it is highly possible that in the upcoming battle set, Konami actually takes a look at EN Shuffle here and goes, hey, we think that we could, you know, cash in on this on another reprint. I mean, obviously, when the card's pushing $3, you know, you kind of got to have the topic of conversation, you know. At what point does this actually become worth switching over and making sure that they become a little bit more affordable? Obviously, once we get Fountain, I think the hero deck is going to become a lot more inviting to players. I know a lot of people really want to try out the hero strategy. Like, it just one more card being added into the pool of this deck every single year has been making players very excited to want to try this out. So we'll see where this goes. But here's to hoping some goodness. I want to touch on Ryzeal here for a second. So Ryzeal has been being discussed a little bit in the background as a little bit of a sub package in some decks. You know, like, can your deck actually support playing a good couple of these pieces within the deck? You know, is there going to be a detour to wanting to play this? And I don't really think so. If you've looked at some of the quarter century prices on some of these Ryzeal cards, they've actually kind of been rising up in value. Not that, like, that's a surprising thing to say or anything, but players are, you know, it really just depends on, like, the level of splashability that your deck wants to have with, you know, this set. And stuff kind of going forward. Obviously, I don't think Ryzeal has a good matchup into Cool Tune by any stretch of the imagination, but if players are looking at this package and they're going, hey, you know, maybe outside of Cool Tune, you know, can we splash a Ryzeal package into a deck? You know, what's the advantage or the downside to not being able to do this? You know, what's worth it to do it? And that's kind of where we're at right now. Obviously, I can't think of anything that's really going to be too great with a Splash Ryzeal package. I know, like, if we were the OCG, you know, we could do Mitsu Ryzeal, but, you know, we don't have King of the Feral Imps to bridge that package. So for the TCG to be looking at this as a discussion piece for, you know, meta, sure. I mean, one thing I will give the Ryzeal package is it is by far probably one of the best remaining Rank 4 packages that we have, besides, like, the Gaga stuff kind of sitting around at the table. But, you know, we kind of got to see where our adjustments are going to go with that. So very interesting just to see, you know, the splashability within today's meta and where that's going. The last thing I want to touch on here is Blazing Dominion over the weekend here. An interesting topic of conversation came up with a lot of stores just having distribution issues this weekend, with stores not getting their product. This is also brought up with a lot of people are seeing that there's not a lot of Blazing Dominion product on the secondary market right now. I would say be patient as the week develops here. I do think we will see Blazing Dominion come into, by the time Friday hits the ground running out here, I think you will see this product fully circulate, and any issues that were apparent over the weekend here with this set will just disappear into the background. It's typically what ends up happening. I'm not surprised to hear that we had product delays, product issues with a set, because this is Konami we're talking about. We tend to have product issues every other set, so it just kind of falls in line with, you know, where things are going right now. But with Blazing Dominion, where we are, I do think give it some time. But there were some issues over the weekend. What stores couldn't get product, I think give them till this weekend, and we'll see where things go. Obviously, you know, you can still go on Gamer's Choice, you can still go on Kong's discount code MK40 will still work on any of those purchases over there to actually save you. And of course, I mean, it's a new set. It's a very hot commodity set. A lot of people want the chance to get cards from this set, so we're going to see where this goes. But it's going to be an interesting one. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back the other day, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.